And he went out from thence and went into his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath was come, Jesus began to teach in a synagogue, and many heard him, and wondered in his teaching, and said, Of whence cometh to this all these things? And what is the wisdom that is given to him, and such virtues which be made by his hand? Whether this is not a carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and of Joseph, and of Judas and of Simon, whether his sisters be not here with us? And they were offended in him. And Jesus said to them, that a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house. And he might not do there any virtue, save that he healed a few sick men, laying on them his hands. And he wondered for the unbelief of them. And he went about castles on each side and taught. And he called together 12 and began to send them by two together, and gave to them power of unclean spirits, and commanded them that they should not take anything in the way, but a staff only, not a scrip, nor bread, neither money in the girdle, but shod with sandals, and that they should not be clothed with two coats. And he said to them, whithersoever ye enter into an house, dwell ye there, till you go out from thence. And whoever receive you not, nor hear you, go ye out from thence, and shake away the powder from your feet, into witnessing to them. And they went forth and preached that men should do penance. And they casted out many fiends, and anointed with oil many sick men, and they were healed. And King Herod heard, for his name was made open, and he said, that John Baptist hath risen again from death, and therefore virtues work in him. Others said, that is Elijah. But others said, that is a prophet, as one of the prophets. And when that thing was heard, Herod said, this is John, whom I have beheaded. He is risen again from death. For that Herod sent and held John, and bound him into prison, for Herodias, the wife of Philip, his brother, for he had wedded her. For John said to Herod, it is not needful to thee to have the wife of thy brother. And Herodias laid ambush to him, and would slay him, and might not. And Herod dreaded John, and knew him a just man and holy, and kept him. And Herod heard him, and he did many things, and gladly heard him. And when a covenantal day was fallen, Herod in his birthday made a supper to the princes and tribunes, and to the greatest of Galilee. And when the daughter of that Herodias was come in and danced, and pleased to Herod, and also to men that sat at the meat, the king said to the damsel, ask thou of me what thou wilt, and I shall give to thee. And he swore to her, that whatever thou ask, I shall give to thee, though it be half of my kingdom. And when she had gone out, she said to her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John Baptist. When she was come in anon with haste to the king, she asked and said, I will that anon thou give to me in a dish the head of John Baptist. And the king was sorry for the oath, and for men that sat together at the meat. He would not make her sorry, but he sent a man queller, and commanded that John's head were brought in a dish, and he beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a dish, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. And when this thing was heard, his disciples came and took his body, and laid it in a burial. And the apostles came together to Jesus, and told to him all things that they had done and taught. And he said to them, come ye by yourselves into a desert place, and rest ye a little. For there were many that came and went again, and they had not space to eat. And they went into a boat, and went into a desert place by themselves. And they saw them go away, and many knew, and they went afoot from all cities, and ran thither, and came before them. And Jesus went out and saw much people, and had ruth on them. For they were as sheep, not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when it was late in the day, his disciples came to him and said, this is a desert place, and the time is now past. let them go into the next town and villages to buy them meat to eat. And he answered and said to them, Give ye to them for to eat. And they said to him, Go we and buy we loaves with 200 pence, and we shall give to them for to eat. And he saith to them, How many loaves have ye? Go ye and see. When they had known, they say, 5 and 2 fishes. And he commanded to them that they should make all men to sit to meat by companies on green hay. And they sat down by parts, by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, he beheld into heaven and blessed and brake loaves and gave to his disciples that they should set before them. And he parted 2 fishes to all, and all ate and were fulfilled. And they took the remnants of broken meats, 12 coffins full, and of the fishes, and they that ate were 5,000 of men. And anon he made his disciples to go up into a boat to pass before him over the sea to Bethsaida, while he let the people go. And when he had left them, he went into an high hill to pray. And when it was even, the boat was in the middle of the sea, and he alone in the land. And he saw them travailing and rowing, for the wind was contrary to them. And about the 4th waking of the night, he wandering on the sea came to them, and would pass them. And as they saw him wandering on the sea, they guessed that it were a phantom, and cried out, for all saw him, and they were afraid. And anon he spake with them, and said to them, Trust ye, I am, do not ye dread. And he came up to them into the boat, and the wind ceased, and they wondered more within themselves, for they understood not of the loaves, for their heart was blinded. And when they were passed over the sea, they came into the land of Gennesaret, and set it to land. When they were gone out of the boat, anon they knew him, and they ran through all the country, and began to bring sick men in beds on each side, where they heard that he was. And whithersoever he entered into villages, or into towns, or into cities, they set sick men in streets, and prayed him that they should touch namely the hem of his cloth, and how many that touched him were made safe.